Okay, we're learning about angles. There are complementary, supplementary, adjacent, and vertical angles. What I want you to do is cut this top half on complementary angles. Right where it says supplementary, you're going to cut right above that line. And we're going to start with this first part on complementary angles, and you're going to paste this into your notebook on the first page of angles, okay? So, complementary angles are two angles whose measures add up to 90 degrees or a right angle. A compliment is the right thing to do. I think of a teacher giving you a thumbs up. That is a compliment. They're saying, hey, you're right. Well, when they compliment you that way, they're giving you a right angle. Example 1, we have an angle here and an angle here. And if I add 72 and 18 together, 72 degrees and 18 degrees equals 90 degrees, which is a right angle. Example 2, I have 40 degrees and 50 degrees, and when I add 40 degrees and 50 degrees together, I get 90 degrees, which is a right angle. So those are complementary angles. Okay, so go ahead and paste that in, and then let's go down to supplementary. Supplementary angles, this is going to go on the next page in your notebook, are two angles whose measures add up to 180 degrees. A straight angle or a straight line. Supplementary and straight both begin with the letter S. So you can remember whenever you see the S in supplementary that that is a straight angle. They add up together, two angles add together to equal 180 degrees, which is a straight angle. Okay, so I'm looking at example 1. I have 74 degrees, a 74 degree angle here and a 106 degree angle here. If I add 74 degrees and 106 degrees, I get 180 degrees. So this is indeed a supplementary angle. For example 2, the question is, what angle is supplementary to angle A? So here's angle A, and I'm looking for another angle that if I put it with angle A, I'm going to get 180 degrees. Well, angle B and angle C with angle A would make a 180 degree angle, but it's looking for one angle. So angle A and angle E together would equal 180 degrees. So this angle A and angle E are a supplementary angle. So if you paste this into the second page in your notebook. Next, we have adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are any two angles that share a common side and a vertex. They're next door neighbors. I think of one of my best friends growing up. She lived right next to me in an apartment. And we could actually knock on the wall of the apartment and we could actually talk through the wall. That's how thin they were. But we shared a common wall. We were adjacent to each other. We were next door neighbors. Example 1, I have angle A and angle B. These two angles are adjacent because they share a common, well, they share this wall in between them, this side right here. So they share a common side and a common vertex. Your vertex is where each one of these rays meets. Example 2. Name two angles that are adjacent to angle H. Well, here's angle H. So what angle would be next door to angle H? Well, angle G and angle I are next door to angle H. They share common wall. Okay, so I want you to cut that section out and paste it onto your third page. We're going to move down to vertical angles. Vertical angles are two non-adjacent angles. They're not neighbors. And they're formed by two intersecting lines. They are congruent, which means equal in measure. Think of Eskimo kisses or two V's kissing. You see these two V's? Well, V's make me think of vertical because vertical starts with V. And these two angles that they form are called vertical angles, excuse me. And these two, the mom and the little girl, are Eskimo kissing. Well, they're rubbing noses, and they form two vertical angles above their nose, and their noses actually form two vertical angles. Okay, let's look down at example 1. What angle is vertical to the 45-degree angle? So here's 45 degrees. What angle is across from it? Well, angle S. What is its measure? Well, I know that vertical angles are congruent because it tells me so right here. They're equal in measure. So angle S has to be 45 degrees also. Since I know that S is 45 degrees, I can figure out what angle R would be and what angle T would be, because I know that they sit on a straight line and that they have to add up to 180 degrees. Let's look at example 2. Name a pair of vertical angles. Okay, so I'm looking for two intersecting lines. Angle J and angle H would be vertical angles here, because two lines that intersect and they form two angles, and they look like Eskimo noses touching or V's kissing. So paste vertical angles into the 4th page of your notebook. Now put in is your angles practice. And if you want to just fold this and staple the top into your notebook sideways, that's fine, but this is kind of like your pause it section. So beside angles practice, you can write pause it. And I want you to try this out using the vocabulary and what we've previously gone over in your notebook. So go ahead and pause the video and try it right here. Okay, so for this first section, it says, color angle M yellow. Color an angle that is adjacent to M green. So angle R and angle N are next door neighbors, and they are both adjacent. Color angle Q red, and color an angle that is complementary to it red as well. So angle P is complementary because when I add the two together, I get a 90-degree angle. If the measure of angle Q is 33 degrees, what is the measure of angle P? I made an equation. 33 degrees plus P equals 90 degrees, because that's what complementary means. So if I take 33 degrees away from 90, I get 57 degrees.
Color guard practice this afternoon. There will be no color guard practice this afternoon. Thank you.
So angle P is 57 degrees. Let's go through 4 through 8. Color the two vertical angles yellow. So angle D and angle F are yellow and they're vertical from each other. They Eskimo kiss. Color two angles that are complementary red. Angle H and angle C equal 90 degrees. Color the angle that is supplementary to F blue. A supplementary angle adds up to 180, so angle F and angle E add up to 180. If the measure of angle F is 79 degrees, what is the measure of angle E? Well, 79 degrees plus angle E, and I made an equation out of this, plus E equals 180 degrees. So subtract 79 from 180, and I get angle E is 101 degrees. So if the measure of angle F is 79 degrees, what is the measure of angle D? Well, angle F and angle D are vertical angles, and they are congruent, so 79 degrees also. Number 9 through 12. Color the vertical angles yellow. The Eskimo kiss angles are colored yellow. Color angle J green. Here's angle J. Color the angle that is adjacent to angle J green. The next door neighbor of angle J is K, or I, but I is already yellow, so I'm going to color K in. Color the angle that is supplementary to angle I blue. So supplementary means they add to 180 degrees. So I and N are on a straight line, and they will add to 180. If the measure of angle N is 118, what is the measure of angle M? Again, I made an equation. So if I have 118 degrees for angle N plus angle M would equal 180. If I subtract 118 from 180, I get M equals 62 degrees.